Hello everyone, this video is about determiners. A determiner is a kind of adjective, and like the descriptive adjectives we saw in my last video, determiners give us information about nouns. Let's look at this example. A purple book was on her big bed. The words a and her are the determiners. And notice that they point out the noun or nouns in the sentence. You see the nouns here are book and bed. They also come before the nouns and the descriptive adjectives. So if we look again, we can see that purple in the first noun phrase, it's a purple book. Purple is the descriptive adjective, and the determiner comes before that, a. And if we look at the other noun, which is bed, big bed actually, her is the determiner, and it comes before the descriptive adjective big, and then the noun bed. So we know that determiners will always be at the beginning of a noun phrase. Now let's say that there aren't any descriptive adjectives and it's just the noun. The determiner will always come before the noun. Okay? That's one of the rules that you have to remember. Determiners also tell us whether the noun phrase is general or specific. Let's look at the same example again. Let's begin with the first noun phrase, which is a purple book. A is the determiner, and it tells us generally about the book. We don't know whose book it is, but we know that there's a book. It's just general information. And if we look at the next noun phrase, her big bed, her is the determiner, and this is a specific determiner because it tells us whose bed it is. Okay, so we have general determiners and we have specific determiners. Now, there are 4 types of determiners in English. These types are known as articles, demonstratives, possessives, and quantifiers. Let's take a look at articles first. Articles are words such as a, an, and the, and they determine which noun the speaker is referring to. There are 2 types of articles. A and an are called indefinite articles because they refer to a general version of the noun. Let's look at the example. She is eating an apple. In this sentence, an is indefinite because we don't know much about the apple. We just know that there's an apple there. Okay, it can be any apple. And then the word the is what we call a definite article. And that refers to a specific version of a noun. In the example, he won the race. The race, the is the article, and it's telling us about a specific race. For example, if I said he won a race, that could be any race. So the determines a specific noun, like the race in this case. Okay, I'm going to do a whole video just on articles because I know they're confusing to many learners out there. So now let's take a look at demonstratives. Demonstratives are words such as this, these, that, and those, and they function as demonstrative pronouns. They are used to point out something specific within a sentence, and they focus attention on the nouns. Let's look at the examples. In the first example, these books are cheap. We're pointing to, or we're focusing on particular books, these books. Okay, usually when we use these, it's close to us. So we're saying these books are cheap. And you can see in the next example, those stars are far away. When we use those, we're talking about something far away. We're looking at something away from us. So these are the relationships that the demonstrative pronouns give the nouns. So just to give you a little summary, this and these are usually determining that the noun is close to us, and that and those determine that the noun is away from us or far away from us. Okay? Now let's move on to possessives. Possessives are words such as my, your, his, her, and their, and they also function as pronouns, and we call them possessive pronouns, and they are used to show ownership, or they point to a relationship of some kind. Let's look at the examples. In the first one, his car is expensive. In this case, his is the possessive pronoun, and it's pointing to the car, saying that he owns the car. In the next example, my brother is a firefighter. We can see my, the possessive pronoun my, and that's pointing to brother, showing the relationship. It's my brother. Okay, you got it? Now let's move on to quantifiers. Quantifiers are words such as many, much, a lot of, a little, some, or any. And they show us how much or how little of the noun we are talking about. So let's look at the examples. In the first example, many cars use this highway every day. The quantifier many is showing us there are many cars. There are a lot of cars that use the highway. Okay, it's showing us the amount. And in the next example, some students walk to school, where the quantifier some is showing us that there are some students that walk to school. Okay? So I have a video just on quantifiers. So if you're confused, and they are confusing, I would suggest that you take a look at that video. Okay? Okay, that's all for this video. Here's a summary. You might want to pause it and take a look. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Great work. And remember what I always say, keep practicing. See you next time.